show where we take the views of Nigerians all over the world, discuss them, and pose them to you, the politically exposed. My name is Msteeq Marlene. My co-host is now here with me, Spencer Newell, in London, and I'm reporting to you straight in the heart of Abuja, the capital of Nigeria. You're welcomed. Today, like you know, we all talk politics. Sometimes we talk entertainment, but today is strictly politics. And it's not straight talk, it's prime view. And who do I have on today? None other than a young politician. You know, when we're in this diaspora, we read and heard about Not Too Young to Run. And yes, we had hopes that the youths and the young shall come to represent us. No more recycled politicians. But this gentleman is from Imo State. And by the time we get to know about him, we have a few questions to ask. And the one that I'm particularly going to ask from my heart is why he chose the party he chose. So no need talking much about the gentleman. I'll let him introduce himself a little bit, but he's none other than His Excellency, Linus Okorie. You're welcome, sir.
Good to meet you.
Yes, you're talking to Prime View Television, and we're based in London. So with now diasporans are eager to hear from you about the whole thing about this Nigerian politics going on, sir. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, sir?
Okay, let me start by saying my name is Linus Okorie. I am from Oguta, a local government area of Imo State. I literally was born a family of 9. My mother literally had 9 of us.
Okay. My mother had 10.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. And I lost my dad when I was in JSS 3 in class 3, and it was a very difficult process. My mom taking care of 9 children, and I went through poverty, and today I'm glad and grateful to God that I was able to go through university, first degree. I registered international relations. I was the first student union government president of Imo State University. I was also senior prefect of government secondary school where I went through, and of course my master's is in organizational leadership at the Regent University in America, and 2 honorary doctoral degree for my work. Literally, since I was 19 years old, my job has been to groom and develop leadership capital for our great country and Africa. I've been concerned about the quality of leadership capital in Nigeria. A lot of the people that have been thrown up, specifically to represent us in the political space, do not have the leadership values and principles and standards necessary to make a difference. Absolutely. So all my life for 24 years, I've invested heavily in myself, grooming and developing my leadership capital, as well as I'm the host of leadership clinic on AIT that I ran for 5 years, every morning, inspiring Nigerian people on leadership themes. And so the first person that set up the African Leadership Center, the Comprehensive Leadership Center in Maitama, in Nigeria, precisely where we train and consult about leadership issues. So I would say that this is the Linus Okorie that you need to know, be recognized by the American government for my work.
Yeah, I saw something from Harvard.
Absolutely, the art and practice of leadership in Harvard as well. And so, and I'm 44 years old.
Wow, fantastic. I'm sure you've heard that when you hear this now, you think, oh, what an old man, because he's been through journeys. But like I said, the youths has to take over now. But my major question now is, there's PDP, there's APC, there's all these major parties. Why did you choose the Young Progressive Party, which is
I'd like to say that initially my thought was to go to a party called ABGA.
Okay.
And when I went to ABGA, and I had foresight You know, my discussion with some of the stakeholders, and I realized that they didn't possess the philosophy, the principles, you know, of integrity and honor to be able to drive such a beautiful, you know, dream. And so I had to leave with the immediate past chairman of the party to go find another party. And I realized that the big parties, ABC, APGA, usually are filled with, you know, recycled, you know, persons, men and women. A lot of them, especially in my state, are looking for the money. So people like us who have some great qualities, most of the times, you know, might not have the type of resources to be able to drive, you know, primaries, you know, in those, because delegates are always expecting, you know, money to be paid them before they vote. And that has been the history of these parties. And at the end of the day, they throw up candidates that have the money but do not have the character and credibility to be able to serve the people. So that's been the case. So usually people will always choose from the less evil. And so I felt that I needed to research for a party, and when I saw the principles of Young Progressive Party, I realized that you know, the party has some of the values that are dear to my heart, the values, youthfulness, and all of that in order to provide service. And so that's why I was able to join the party. And when I joined the party, my name rubbed on the party as well. You know, we grew the party from where it is today, and I'm happy that our YPP is rated among the 5 political parties so far in Imo State.
I must say, I was following it also from UK. With Hinton, I was one of your representatives there as part of the YPP.
Interesting.
Yes. And when the governor, the main thing I wanted to ask now is Nigerian politics is a money politics.
Yes.
And you know, these people, this APC and PDP, they have the money to back whoever they want to back up. Your party doesn't have that funds, I believe. But do you personally have that fund to level up with these people, with this?
It will interest you to know that Imo has a history of voting individuals, despite of some of so as I'm talking to you right now, since December I relocated to Imo, and I've been you know, dealing with people, you know, training the people, causing a mindset revolution. I mean, in the business of transforming the thinking of this people. And I realized that in my primaries, when I ran my primaries, at the end of the day, that the party faithfuls came out in their numbers and voted without asking for money.
Wow.
They voted based on the belief that Linus Okorie would make a difference for them. And so on the basis of that, even though we have not succeeded 100% in, you know, changing the mindset of the people, but I know that a lot of people are beginning to realize that it's not just about money. That a lot of the persons who have big money, who do not have character, who do not have integrity, who do not have any source of income, no track record of what they do for a living. You know, some of them, we've been hearing about them forever, and they don't own any institution, they don't own any business. I own a leadership institution where my recognition has come from. Where you're stating is a leadership institution. Specifically.
It's like before you came in, I slipped around.
Absolutely, yes.
Classroom setting.
Absolutely. So you can. So I have a handwork that if I'm not in politics today, I have something to fall back on.
Wow.
Do you know what I'm talking about? So I mean, you know, so I've gone around the world recognized for my work, and I've won awards in different countries for my work, and so you can trace my track record from primary school to secondary school to university and all of that, and you can say this guy has done stuff. What their track records are.
You know something, you know, I must say this. When you speak, it's like, sometimes they say best of the same friend. In your party, it looks like you're together, because now you're talking. I'm hearing like Kingsley Moore talking.
Absolutely.
Almost the same thing, leadership.
Absolutely.
That.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how is your relationship with him and the party?
Interestingly, I've known Kingsley Moghalu for a while, even while he was deputy governor of the Central Bank. But our relationship deepened sometime 2 years ago when I hosted a very big event in Washington, D.C. I hosted the African Leadership Conference, you know, which was made up of top billionaires and millionaires of African descent who are interested in investing in Africa. You know, so we created such a big event that Kingsley was the keynote speaker. And when Kingsley spoke at that event, some of those who attended from the diaspora were like, "What is this guy Nigerian?"
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, absolutely. And then of course he gave me lunch in his house in Virginia. And then, you know, since then we started talking, and then he shared the vision of his running for president. And, you know, at some point, different decision mechanisms we saw ourselves in the same party. That I can't see a situation whereby a country is so blessed with natural resources. A state is so blessed. Imo State is a very rich state as well, blessed with human beings, human capital. Some of our human capital around the world are celebrated. And at the end of the day, when it comes to leadership, that can drive progress, we lack the kind of leaders that can make things happen. And people are dying every day from lack of healthcare. People are dying, simply because of the fact that they are not being paid salaries. People are dying for, several other reasons. There's a rise of poverty, despite the fact that Imo State has a system that has produced, so many graduates as a result of the many higher institutions that at Imo State. And these young people finish, they don't have jobs. Yes. And when they don't have jobs, some of them go into crime, and the advanced fraud and all kinds of things that they do. And I'm asking myself this question: what does it take to turn Imo around? Imo will not be turned around by going to Abuja and waiting every month for the allocations. That's not. Anybody who will be governor of Imo State will be a thinker, will be somebody that is innovative, creative, somebody that can mobilize Imo people wherever they are in the world and say, it is not about me, it will be a collective development, it's not specifically.
I must mention this. Imo might be a big or massive state, like you said, but that's the problems of Imo. I interviewed one of presidential candidates yesterday, precisely Ben Wajimogo. He mentioned the problems of Imo, major problems of Imo. And with what I gathered, the governor happened to be the major problem. Because I asked him questions about infrastructures, bills that were passed. Right now, you don't have, and I don't know, let me not say you were not going to, people representing you either in the National Assembly or in the State Assembly. How do you intend to, how do you intend to govern a state like that? Because if you go in there now, it will be like a so
it will interest you to know when Ohakim was the governor of the state. Ohakim inherited a state house of assembly that was literally foreign in the context of PhD, who initiated a program that had to do with executive legislative relationship. And Obudu Ranch was where it was hosted. I was part of it, and I realized that at the end of the day, that what happened was that the governor sold his vision to the people and created a bond where members of the legislature had to work with him to develop the state. And for me, that was a very good plan. And so I don't need to have, members in the house, but in as far as I'm going to be a great governor, I will be a super governor. I'll be a governor of the people for the people. I'll be a governor that will attract quality men and women. I'll be a governor that will work with the State House of Assembly to create the people kind of legislature that can guarantee prosperity and end poverty drastically or reduce poverty drastically. So what I'm saying to you basically is that because I'm selfless in my pursuit of making a difference for the people, literally, I don't have any ego around my space. I'm a governor. The governor is powerful. So I'm talking about. So I will extend, a great kind of fellowship to all the progressive important things.
Because a few governors have come and passed. Olu Okiwe, they've been terrible. I must tell you. It's not. We need to, like when Rochester was coming in, he said, I'm going to urbanize these two cities. But Owerri is like on point. But Olu and Okiwe, even the roads. My co-host Spencer was in town for I think about 3 months ago. we did a road trip, and Okiwe, Owerri Road, Onitsha, Okiwe Road, whichever way that is, and then Olo Okiwe Road. They're all federal state roads. They are in terrible state. I saw the videos he did. And then to urbanize these two towns, how do you intend to do that? Because two governors have come and failed. Yeah,
most interesting basically is every city specifically has what it's known for.
Yes.
Right? There's a character.
Yes.
That is behind every city.
Yes.
Precisely. So first thing first is to set up a team that will review the original plan, you know, of these cities precisely, and recommend, you know, to me, it's very, very urgent. All our cities should be great cities, you know, precisely. But it requires, you know, where you have congestion already, we can set it up into new cities, you know, bring out new cities out of, you know, the existing, you know, cities that are available. We can do that. And another thing that is possible basically is that is to create industrial cities, you know, around those cities. For instance, although you can be rest assured that Idiato, you know, North, there are a lot of industries that, you know, over there. How could you know, bring in, attract first of all, you know, beautiful industrial zones, you know, within those areas. And because my policy statement really is about, you know, creating wealth, you know, for the people of Imo State. Top on the agenda is creating wealth, attracting foreign investors like never before. And let me you know, say something. Recently, I was invited by Dr. Akumi Adesino, the president of the African Development Bank, to South Africa for the African Investment Forum. And you know, he had liked the fact that I could be a great governor, or I will be a great governor, and he wanted me to experience into that environment. I realized that he's attracted over 700 people, quite a lot of them with big money from major companies from around the world, institutions from around the world who are interested in investing in Africa. And about 45 companies in Africa were engaged in that process. But guess what? At the end of the 3 days, $32 billion was raised.
Wow.
And 45 companies benefited from it, from Africa. And I was asking, why was it successful? The reason why it was successful literally was that the person of Akimi Adesino is credible.
Yes, of course.
He's competent.
Of course. From health to bank finance.
Absolutely. Yes. And a good track record.
Yes.
And a human being that is humble. And so people supported him from all over the world. And I said to myself, when Imo, as a governor like me, with those kinds of characteristics that we're talking about, what it means is that I pick up my phone, I make a few calls, and a lot of people will begin to run to Imo because they now see Imo as a haven of investment, a place where there's rule of law, good governance, right? That any investment that they bring in Imo will be investment that is sustainable, will be investment that will be in an environment. And I want us to also know that Imo is sitting at a very important place in the south or southeast, you know, as the case may be. You know, put it this way. Imo, we have south states. You know, on the other end, you have the southeastern states, and the population of these states about 48 million people. So Imo is sitting at top. You know, so Imo is ripe to become the state that services every other state. So what it means is that light manufacturing can thrive in Imo, right? Tourism can thrive.
I was going to, before getting there, I was going to ask you, how do you intend to prove that job creation?
Absolutely. In fact, let me even you know, start saying that first thing I want to do, you know, basically is to create an economic environment. It's the environment itself, enabling environment for commerce to thrive, for economic activities to thrive, right? So what I like to build my listing on, my policy statement really on the theme is end poverty, create wealth, right? That's the theme. So in order to do that, specifically, I take advantage of what Imo has precisely, which is the two enablers. Enablers will be good governance, you know, so if you have a good governance that is working, then the next one is infrastructure. Investment infrastructure, so you have power. Infrastructure is already there, you know, so investment in energy, we have gas already, oil and gas, you know, but gas in essence, I mean, the gas, you know, composition in Imo is huge. What you need to do is to unlock the regulatory framework, whatever it is that is delaying, you know, the partnerships that can facilitate a great business of gas in Imo, all right? That you know, ensures that our energy is working. Solar energy is in place. You know, waste management, you know, using waste to generate energy and all of that. All the investment around that is already in place. It's not far-fetched. We have a lot of Imo people who are the best in this. I might not be the technical guy in all of this, but my job is to bring the guys to the table and give them some deadlines, and with the job we're done, Imo will be lit up. That's what we're talking about, right? Power our industries, because industrial zones will be set up in a way that the infrastructure will be ready for every investor that wants to come into Imo. And as they're coming into Imo, we're, you know, giving them enable and set up light manufacturing. Light manufacturing. Remember I said to service the 48, you know. So once Imo has the security infrastructure in place, security infrastructure. Remember? Security. Yes, security right infrastructure. Now, Imo can have an intelligent security system that is unprecedented. So well, that means...
Let me hold you on to that.
Yes.
So now you believe in state policy?
Absolutely. No, it's not necessarily, we don't necessarily have to have state police, you know, precisely. What I'm saying is that we already have the police system that is working, but we can utilize data.
Okay.
Yes, the intelligence of data management, you know, I mean, you can, if people identify the in and out, you know, the exit points in Imo, basically. You can actually know how many persons are entering into, coming and going out, basically. This is an autumn. You can use technology, utilize, you know, data management system and high-level intelligence and create such a system that would enable Imo, you know what I mean, thrive. Another element, basically, is that as these companies are coming in, young people are having jobs.
Yes.
Do you get what I'm talking about? And then beyond that, we're setting up the technical institutions that will develop our technical skills, great model, world celebrated kind of skills. Young people, for instance, on some, you know, create the technology hubs where young people can learn programming in an understanding way and cyber security. Yes. Do you know what I'm talking about? You know, young people can learn all kinds of high-level technology issues that can immediately put them at top in terms of having finance to live to earn a living wage.
I was going to ask you your plans on education.
Yes, I was coming to that. Then the second element of the things I'd like to do is creating, you know, technical schools that will create opportunities, just like Singapore did. That we can have guys who will fill in the gaps we have in the oil and gas, like the skills in the oil and gas sector that is missing. We have a lot of oil companies, but we don't have a lot of, you know, Imo people who are working within those systems, you know, machines who can develop world-class systems. What about the manufacturing industry? There are skill gaps there that are global in nature. We can identify those gaps and make our young people the best in those, train them to be the best in those things. In construction, tiling, plumbing, whatever you can imagine. Can you know, do you know that Imo can become an export state? We can export human capital, the best of the best in Thailand, just like Togo is exporting them to Nigeria. We can export them to West African region, market these skills, and these people will make a lot of money. This is, you know, something that is amazing for me. Agriculture as a business is another element. I mean, we're talking about all the value chain in agriculture. We're talking about, you know, it's possible that you will set up a company in Imo that will train human capital. And any company in the world that wants to invest in Imo, they don't need to come with their people. We already have trained people with all the value chain that you're talking about. Is it those planters? Is it harvesters? We have them already on ground. So you're talking about taking artisans and giving them a skill. Each person must have a skill to earn a living wage. And when that happens, you create clusters where you can market them. Even if it is barbering skills, it must be, an Imo State barber must be the best in Nigeria. Do you know what I'm talking about? So the guy who is a mechanic will be the best. So you no longer will fix your car and the next day it's pause. We can actually be, because our human capital is our strength in Imo. We have intelligent human beings, convert them into people with skill sets, and then they can really make a difference. Then the other element of what I'm trying to do differently is to create enterprise development agencies. Okay. Some Imo citizens are business people. They want to do business. They don't want to work for anybody. They have their business ideas. Why don't them come to the enterprise development agency, come and present their businesses, right? When they do that, at the end of the day, we will find best business ideas. 27,000 of them will have access to finance each year to be able to start up something on their own. Imagine if they start up and they have support services around that. What happens is that every year you have businesses that will grow from an SME to a business that is employing much more people than you can ever imagine, because there's a support system around it that is helping them grow. Swan wants to set up a furniture company. That's his business plan, and he knows the job well. You give him money to do that. He has the opportunity to apply for government contracts, right? Yeah. He makes it, and then he's creating some beautiful furniture. And at the end of the day, everybody is going to go to he needs more hands. That's how to develop economies, precisely, because you are putting young people at the map of the work. So my government is pro young people like never before. And then also women, who are women who are doing small businesses at home, taking care of their children at home. We can create a system whereby 27,000 of them can have access to finance to be able to set up their small businesses, and those will pay back in a very beautiful way. So if you do that every year, imagine the amount of women in the village that you can help put food on their tables, precisely. So we're talking about policy statements that will work. And you were asking me about my health, my view on health specifically. One of the things I like to do, preventive medicine. Yeah, preventive medicine. The truth of the matter is that a lot of people are falling sick simply because of the fact that they are eating things they're not supposed to eat. Yeah. So why don't you, create a system whereby health officers can go from one community to the other and enlighten the people that common hygiene can, do you know what I'm talking about? So that'll be the first thing that I want to invest in. Another thing I want to invest in is a mobile clinic system where somebody can be sick in less than 10 minutes. Yes, you can reach someone who's going to be able to at least take care of that situation before they get to.
I think that's doable in Nigeria.
Absolutely, it's all you need to do. Listen, people have mobile phones.
Yes,
people have technologies. Is there any old woman that doesn't have a phone now? My mother is 70-something. She has a phone, and her phone is her friend, specifically. So you can build a system around that ensures that you have employed quite a lot of health officers. What do you call it? You set up mobile clinics, in different locations, in local government areas, as the case may be. Somebody is sick in less than 10 minutes. Somebody attends to you. For me, I think that because most of the time somebody is sick, in the next one day, 24 hours, there's no help coming from anywhere. Do you know what I'm talking about? They don't even have money to even move from where they are to the next location. So we're going to be able to deal with that situation in a way that is going to be outstanding. I hear there are so many hospitals that are scattered over the place. Yes. What I want to do differently is identify 1, 2, 3 top hospitals and make sure that they're the best. Working hospitals. So I like to emphasize that we would create an enabling environment for PPP to happen around health. So everybody goes to India when kidney issues occur, some special kind of diseases or sicknesses are happening to the body, they go to India, and so India is thriving because they created medical tourism, specifically. And so while Imo State have the highest number of doctors in the United States and across the world. So what is the opportunity there for, we're talking about, some of these doctors.
Sorry, sir, what is PPP?
Private public partnerships, basically. So what that means is that, we will be ready to create the partnership necessary, to provide the space, the land necessary for us to practice medical tourism in Imo. So where we can get into agreement where, you know, people can invest, you know, and create, you know, hospitals for kidney, you know, different types of, you know, dangerous ailments, you know, precisely that hitherto you must go to India. Instead of people going to India, Imo State will now be a place where, you know, people can come to from all over the world, from all over Africa, from all over Nigeria. Precisely. I think that it is just creating the right framework for that to happen. Listen, governance is about somebody, you know, setting the goals and, you know, getting people around it to say, let's make it happen, and then executing it. And one of the gifts I have is the gift of execution. I get things done, you know, precisely. And as a governor, you know, I am not the expert, you know what I mean? My job is to mobilize the people, set the vision, but I bring the people on the table and I'm like, this is a challenge for us here. What can we do to get out of this challenge? And then we create the roadmap, timelines. My job is to make sure that I get everybody to the point of executing it, and it happens, right? So and that is why that those who are going to be heading the ministries under my leadership as Imo State Governor will be the best of the best in each of. You know, we have reduced the value of commissionership in Imo State right now, where people who do not have any pedigree are heading ministries. They don't know what to do because you have a system whereby it's only the governor that can approve, that does everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. So where is the system whereby a letter comes to the governor minutes to, you know, the necessary office. The necessary office, you know, moves into the commissioner's office. The commissioner moves into the PAMSEC. It moves down to a system where, you know, till it gets to the deputy director and to the officers. The officers, you know, will now grow, sit down, develop memos, you know, and forward back. It starts climbing up again. So you build a system where one man doesn't take a decision. Somebody can actually say, sir, I think this is wrong, you know. It's a collective responsibility. That's what governance is about. It's not one man. As a governor, I can't be the only person that takes decisions. So if I am not around, governance is in place. It's functioning. Because I have competent men and women who can make it happen. So that's my idea. Anybody who is Imo citizen anywhere in the world can send an idea to the idea room. I can send a letter to say this is what I think should be the right way of doing things, and we'll review it. I mean, if it works, guess what? It comes on my table as an executive summary. And by the time it moves to the executive council, decisions are made. What I'm talking to you about is a governance system that moves from the norm to the extraordinary, where thinking, quality thinking, and creativity is put in place in governance. So it affects all sectors of the economy. Let me give you one of my last examples for today. Look at Oguta Lake.
Yes.
Oguta Lake is supposed to be a pride.
Of course.
To us. It's supposed to be our money machine. Oguta Lake is supposed to be our money machine. What does it take to make Oguta Lake work? It's just to build the right framework and bring in the right investors and oversee the execution. And Oguta Lake will be a place where people can come in and they don't want to leave. The more they stay, the more they spend money. Right? They are coming in, they are going, first of all, our airport, our state airport, we now have to make sure that we put pressure on the powers that be, that airport will be a specimen of attraction to the world. Anybody who comes to our airport, you will see a place for, wow, what a beautiful place, right? The toilets clean, smart looking. What we're talking about is that you can create that system. The road to Oguta Lake is about 30 minutes. You have to make sure that works. And at the end of the day, everybody comes in. So if you sleep at Oguta Lake, you pay tax to Imo State government. So people can, if you eat any food in Oguta Lake, you pay tax to Imo State government. So Imo State government can earn a lot of money just by creating a system that works there. So even the original owners of can also be frying their fish one corner, you know, and different business activities are happening. They have built transport businesses around that place. Talk about you can get 1,000 people come to Imo every day.
I hope that will come to pass.
It will come to pass it will come to pass under my administration.
When I was there 4 years ago, Ubuta's very
yes.
Ubuta didn't have I'm saying now.
Yes.
Didn't have lights for 4 years.
Absolutely. So
and I wept when I went there.
So you can imagine.
Took a tour around Ubuta and Ubuta Lake you're talking about. Such a beautiful location. But
and when those of you in the diaspora come back home, I used to know they used to go to Uguta Lake.
Yes.
And well, guess what? That hope I'm bringing back again, that your children will have experience in Uguta Lake, and every year they will dream of coming back to Uguta Lake. It's my job. It's what I want to make happen for Igbo people, and I believe that it's going to happen. And that's why somebody asked me, said, "Do you have enough money to win the election?"
Yes, that's another.
Somebody asked me that, and I said to the people, "Look, my job is to cast a vision. Obama didn't have enough money, but he cast the vision,
but do you know,
and people began to support.
Do you know,
and even Rochas Okorocha that we're talking about today, 4 years ago, 8 years ago, also did the same thing, and the people of Imo supported him."
But do you know there are godfathers? Do you have a godfather?
Well,
in Nigeria,
it will interest you to know that at the end of the day, I trained the military, Nigerian military. I trained the police.
Okay.
I train, the critical element of those that conduct elections, as the case may be. So Linus Okorie does not have godfathers. God Almighty is my father, my godfather, and everything, and He has raised men across the world that are my helpers. Those who believe in my vision, those who know that when I'm governor, that I will not touch people's money, that I will make a difference for them, that I'm hungry to leave a legacy. And on the basis of that, those people are, supporting me, and I'm sustaining my campaign right now. My campaign has been seen as one of the best so far anymore. So what I'm going to do is to upgrade my momentum. We're going to go room by room, door to door, and we will reach the people, and the people will make the decisions on who will be their governor based on the fact that Linus Okorie is somebody who has a track record, who is visionary, and who will make a difference for the people of Imo State. Okay. And the last thing I want to talk about is your diaspora commission.
No, before we do that, because I want you to also address diasporas when you do that. But before that, I will not fail to mention about my worries about the Imo women. You mentioned something about having the heart of the women and children in our own mind. There's this thing that is really killing us, I'm an Igbo woman. The rights of an Igbo woman, especially when your husband dies, the widows are meant to suffer, to do this, to do that, to do that. We need the rights, because they were trying to pass it to law before, and it crashed because they termed it abortion law. And I want you to tell us what you will do to give these women right to, I'm not saying right to terminate pregnancy, but right to when, like, you're pregnant and you know your health is at stake, you have that right to go for an abortion, and nobody will tell you it's wrong. The right that when your husband dies, you're entitled to certain things, like his properties or something, not being called to come and swear oath by drinking whatever they used to. The right of cutting down this OSU system, that you can marry from this, because that's what's killing us, the Igbo women. Most of us are single because of that. So now that I believe, I don't want to use the word civilization, but the world is opening, it's enlarging. How can your government come in, as a governor, how can you come in and push this to law?
My job as a governor really will be to, listen to the people, precisely. When we listen to the people and identify the specific issues, basically like you mentioned, some of the issues, I believe that, the ones that will require executive law, executive, before us to initiate executive bill, we will do that. The ones that, but we'll look at it, and my Attorney General specifically will advise me, appropriately, as the case may be. But you can be rest assured that anything that will promote the women, in a way that their rights will not be tampered with, specifically, we'll look at it and make sure that it does not also, tamper on somebody else's right, as the case may be.
And so, have more women in your cabinet.
Absolutely.
I'm not advocating for the women, but
Absolutely.
Right now we don't
but it took me about, I was looking for a woman deputy governor for about 4 months, and I couldn't find one. Literally, I asked around, and I couldn't find one, so I had no option than to get a male competent, deputy governor.
But anyway, you're deputy president.
And you can be rest assured that in my cabinet you have a lot of competent women, and quality women that will bring some changes into the system.
And then on the final note, because I know the time is not on you, so we have series of meetings. The diasporas, our votes, they still don't count.
Yes, but most interestingly, the diaspora can come into this campaign to support the Linus Okorie campaign. You can thank God you're Nigerian, so you can support with your finances, you can support with your advisory system. So anybody who wants to be part of the campaign, you're welcomed, because this is the most important thing that can happen to you. Can't miss it this time. The other thing I like to say is that I was in America. I did a tour around America, 6 states. I was in the UK. Also had events in London with some Nigerians, and I clearly stated that I will be that governor that will bring into law the Diaspora Commission.
Wow.
The Diaspora Commission will be a system that will be dedicated to servicing those of us who are coming from the diaspora. We have ideas, we have business ideas, and we don't have the networks to execute it. You know what I mean? So what I will do is that to be able to welcome you within that system, ensure that by the time you come in, you can settle appropriately. You see?
Okay.
Whatever that you require to do that. So express attention, because a lot of you are coming with ideas, with high level knowledge that if we tap into, in fact, some of you will come in here what we call brain gain. India has benefited from that, precisely where most of their people in diaspora, they come back to India. And, the Indian system, utilizes their knowledge, the knowledge they've gained overseas. And some of them create businesses, small businesses. Some of them, they have built a technology, system that is working in India. Some of them have created companies that are working because there was a policy, a government that decided to provide that opportunity for them. So those of you in the diaspora, you can see this is your government.
I must say, I appreciate you having you today on Prime View, and you have heard it from His Excellency, and I call him Excellency because he's already won the Imo State, as he's now our Imo State Governor, and you better accept it by the grace of God. Thank you, Linus Okorie, and from Prime View Television, Prime View Show, this is coming to you from Abuja. Have a good night.